with TeamJVS here.
Hey everyone, it's Vanessa with TeamJVS doing my WonderCon 2024 recap. I just got back home. It was such a good time. I went with, well, I didn't go with him, but I met up with Ronin, Unchained. I'm sure you've seen him on the channel, and he was able to be my guide on Friday. I landed on Thursday night, and after a couple of delays, thanks Southwest, and got to my hotel. It was super nice, and I was able to just relax before like the craziness on Friday started. So yeah, overall, I thought it was a good time. I was a little slower on Friday, quiet. And I know a lot of like Funko and a couple other, people pulled out or like weren't showing up. There wasn't as much going on this year as people like as there usually was. I know people were in the press room were kind of talking about that a little bit. I agreed. I thought that was kind of a little quieter than usual, but it was totally fine because I got to enjoy the floor. I got to see things. I wasn't, I'm 5 feet tall. I kept saying this, but like, it's really hard when you're 5 feet tall or short to navigate these kinds of floors, especially at like, if you've been to San Diego Comic-Con, it's like 3 or 4 times the amount of traffic, and it is on the floor. It's just constant. I can't enjoy the floor at Comic-Con as much as at San Diego Comic-Con as much as I would like to. So at WonderCon, I was able to like see booths. I saw stuff 3 or 4 times. Like, it's so nice to be able to like go and I got to like see the lay of the land and go back to places where I knew I was. I got lost a couple times, but Ronin was a really great guide on Friday, kind of showing where like Artist Alley and like where the comic books were and all this other stuff. So that was pretty dope. But yeah, it was really cool, like, especially Artist Alley. I have like something else.
All the plates in the air by bankers.
Yeah, it was fun. You can see the camera angle is from my very beautiful 5 foot high perspective, but it was nice being able to just enjoy the floor. So that was a really big plus for me. The first panel, one of the panels I went to on Friday, one of the only panels I went to on Friday, I wasn't able to get into another one I wanted to go to, but was Magma Comics launch kind of panel. If you don't know much about comics, I'm a comics girl, primarily DC Comics, but I love reading comic books, and sitting in on this panel was really cool because there were a few artists that are creators that I actually knew, like Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly and Steve Orlando, who have done stuff for DC in the past and currently still doing stuff. And now they're doing their own creator-owned projects for Magma. Yeah. Jackson and Kelly are doing The Principles of Necromancy, which is about like a doctor physician who wants to like bring people back from the dead. There's Silicon Bandits, and then there's also The Scale Trade, which is from Steve Orlando, which is pretty dope. It's about like what if dragons were like in our reality, and then the capitalism and all that took over, and there was like an illegal dragon trade, scale trade, whatever. So that was interesting to hear him talk about it. The most interesting thing to me was Magma talking about who they were and their mission, and it kind of threw shade a little bit at the bigger publishers, because I mean, this is not a secret. Like, artists and writers in the industry kind of talk about how like they don't get the best deals out of like larger publishers, who I'm not going to name, but you probably know where they are. Sometimes they get paid. I've seen people complain about artists getting paid more for variant covers than they are for interior artwork, which is why you see a lot of variant art covers for like one issue. Like there could be 6, which is insane. It's gotten crazier since DC Rebirth and like the 28 like post-COVID era. The variant covers across all brands is it is starting to feel a little bit cash grabby, which Denton Tipton and Bobby Curnow kind of talked about a little bit on the panel. So I thought that was interesting there. And Jackson Lansing said like he was like they were shocked about the contract they got because it was way more than they thought that they were going to get. And I thought that was like pretty dope. That they were able to create their own stories and then still own the stories. Like if you create a story for like a larger publisher, they own those characters. They own that IP. You don't own it. They do. So with Magma, their whole mission is to support creators and their vision, promote them, support them, market the book, help sell it to retailers. So I thought that was really cool. I think it's definitely something to watch out for. If you're into comics, check out, Magma Comics, like, get outside the DC Marvel image, IDW kind of like branded characters and kind of go for these smaller, try and check out the smaller brands. I thought that was pretty cool. So Saturday was my biggest day. Let me see if I have some other stuff from Friday. Hold up.
Hey, run away.
Friday was our only sunny day. Yeah. Saturday and Sunday were torrential downpour rain, which was whatever for me because I was inside most of the time, but I felt bad for a lot of people who wanted to like take pictures outside and be more outside, and like especially the Disneyland people, because there were a ton of people at Disneyland. But that's, not my business, not my problem. But yeah, it was, Saturday was the biggest and busiest day for both Ronin and I. I ended up going to a ton of panels. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 panels. So I was just like back and forth, running from one panel to a press room, grab a cup of tea because I was exhausted, and then back to another panel and covering on as much as I could. So the first one I did of the day was the legendary Marv Wolfman. You guys, Marv Wolfman is my granddad. He created some of my all-time favorite characters, including Starfire and Cyborg and Raven. He's the creator of New Teen Titans, and not because I'm not a Marvel girl, so I learned some things in this panel. He apparently created Blade for Marvel when he was writing his Dracula story, Dracula series. I thought that was so cool. I didn't know that, and I think that's even cooler now. He also just like talking about his life and how he's come full circle, like being a little boy in a Superman shirt and now doing being paid to just do comics, like create superheroes and create elaborate stories. And I think that's pretty dope. We learned he like doesn't remember hanging out with Gene Simmons, but he apparently worked with Gene Simmons. Like that's pretty dope. He's a pretty cool guy, and I'm glad I got to see him at least once in my life, because he is my goat, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was really cool. He also, this is a little funny for me. Disco Wing was on the screen, and I thought that was hilarious. But he did talk about the fact that he took Robin from being a boy to a man, essentially creating Nightwing and like paying homage to Superman and Batman, and the fact that Nightwing is inspired by both heroes. And a lot of people don't know that Nightwing and Flamebird were Kryptonian legends, and Dick Grayson named himself after a Superman legend because he's a Superman fanboy. So it's not just Batman. He's not just Batman's successor. He's also Superman's successor in a way. And I thought and that's Marv's like one of the biggest contributions he's made. I think that's the biggest contribution that anyone could make to Dick Grayson's character. He's the one who created Dick and Corey, their relationship. And I think that's honestly the most mature relationship Dick Grayson's ever had. You can fight me on that. I don't care. He almost got married to her, but not dwell on the 90s. But yeah, I was really cool to see and hear him talk about stuff that is obviously I'm very passionate about. So I loved seeing that old man, love that old hippie. He's just but also one of the best things he talked about was the amount of diversity he always comes from a place of like creating a world that looks like the world we have. He's been doing that since the 80s. And I thought it was interesting because people were clapping and he was like, that's not something to clap for. It's not, these people exist, like people who look like this exist. Why would I draw a world where they don't exist? So that warms my heart, or like, and that's like, he's a child. He's a person who grew up in the 60s. So there's a very specific set of like old people that they grew up and thrived and flourished in the 60s and 70s who still hold on to those ideals. And those are like probably that was one of the biggest progressive leaps in our era, in American history during those eras. Like so many civil rights movements, and things and changes and like so much happened in that era that really truly solidified a lot of who are these older generation who they are. So it's really cool to see this person, and if he wasn't who he was, we wouldn't get what we got. I just love it. Anyway, the next panel I went to was it's called the What's the Best Superpower panel, which was a fun panel consisting of a bunch of people. I'm going to try and remember the name of all of these people. So it was Patrick Ballesteros, Grace Ellis, Justin Nguyen, oh my God, I can't pronounce his name, and Steven Silver, and then a guy named Jimmy Robinson. I think he's not on the like program thing, but this was a really fun panel. It wasn't even like an educational panel. It was literally, they all had to list, each of them had to pitch a superpower, and then we, the audience, had to like pick it apart, ask questions. Why this? Why that? Why this? Why that? Some of the powers were like invisibility, the speed force, being a super inventor, time stoppage, telekinesis. So like everyone, eventually the audience did vote. We got to like do an audience vote, and I did not vote for this. I voted for the speed force because I'm a Flash girl, you know me. But the audience spoke for super inventor, which is lame as hell, but whatever. Next up, I had the Women Rocking Hollywood panel. That was really cool, and it was featuring writer, director, Reservation Dogs Fancy Dance, Erica Tremblay, the director of upcoming Tarot, Anna Hellberg, producer and stunt coordinator on The Holdovers, Amy Green, and Annabella, Andrea Wilson Mirza, like a ton of people that are actually really cool to like hear from. And I actually thought the panel itself was really great. I love, hearing what women in Hollywood have to say, talk about their experiences. And but one of the things, and this is something that like just overall across the board at every panel I went to, like especially with not the ones that are like not the spotlight ones, but a lot of these panels where it's like about diversity or superpowers or whatever, there was not a lot of Black women featured on these, and I'm always, as a Black woman, I'm always going to spot where the Black women are, and especially in a panel about like women in Hollywood, and then the panel I went to on Sunday, diversity in Hollywood or whatever. I thought there was no Black women on these panels. So that's something that I'm not a fan of. And so I hope we can just keep doing better, because like, it's often like when we have these diversity in like women, including women and things, conversations, Black women tend to get left out of it a lot. But we are expected to fix everything during election years. So just something I noticed, and I kind of wanted to speak up about. But one of the things that I really loved, two things actually. I didn't record this one, but Erica Tremblay did mention what was going on, the things that are going on in the world. I don't want to get dinged on this because I know how algorithms work, but it was really nice and refreshing to hear someone talk about the ongoing tragedies that are happening. And I'm glad that she spoke about it. And then another thing was Amy Green. I have a clip that I loved that she talked about work-life balance, and on the set of the movie that she's currently working on, or the project she's currently working on.
The Holdovers. Actually, I think we did it on Knives Out as well, but Knives Out, Sound and Metal, The Holdovers. Maybe a little on Mother Android, I'm not sure about that one, but in the movie I'm currently making, we are shooting 10-hour work days. We never go over that. In the case of this next film I'm making, we're actually looking at 8-hour work days. So it's an extended schedule to shoot more days, but shorter hours, so that people can go home and be with their families at night and get rest and actually take care of themselves, and also do this dream job that we're all so lucky to do, because it's there's kind of a history and a culture of money coming first and getting the job done, and it would be great if we could do it in a healthier way.
Love that. Something I've been a huge fan of any company I've ever worked for, as even just like a normal person. Work-life balance is so huge. So many corporations and so many companies literally exploit their workers. Every industry does this, to the point where they don't have a personal life. Everything is dedicated to their job. I loved hearing her say this, especially when I hear about Hollywood sets, people working 14, 15, 16-hour days, not even getting a car to get them to their hotel, not protecting them on set. So I think that's really cool that she's like max 10 hours. Like, that's dope, especially when you're doing something you love, but even doing it for 22 hours straight, you're gonna fucking hate it at one point. You know what I mean? So I love that she said that. Shout out to Amy Green. I really wanted to make sure I highlighted that, what she said. So the next panel I did was Gail Simone, a spotlight. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Todd Knock. My apologies. Spotlight on Todd Knock. And he's back. Like I don't know if you know, if you read Young Justice in the 90s, you know who Todd Knock is. He is the our illustrator and artist of the Young Justice series. And I think he's also did Impulse. I believe he did Superboy. And a bunch of stuff. But he's back. He's doing more stuff. He just recently did Stargirl, The Lost Children. And he's currently doing the covers for X-Men 97, which is really cool. But I enjoy him. He's a kind of a dweeb, like in a good way. Like, no, there's no bad way to be a dweeb. He's a goober. He still geeks out over being a fanboy and like sitting next to like, Stan Lee, and like, it's just really cool to hear someone who's in the industry, been in the industry for 30 years, and he's still like, I get excited. Like, I would be that if I ever get, make it into the industry. I would be the same way. I would freak out if I ever see, like, oh my God, I'm not even gonna name him because I don't want to embarrass myself, but I would be the same. I already said it. Mark Wolfman, I met him. Like, I was like his like peer, considered his peer. I would lose my mind. Anyway, Todd Knock was great. He basically just talked about his life, his all the stuff he worked on, the fact that he's just been rolling through the industry, and he refused to do anything else. I thought that was inspiring. It was pretty dope. I enjoyed it. It was great. It was a good panel. Just a fun person to hear talk about comics, really. But the next panel that I was super, super excited about, spotlight on Gail Simone, who is, well, if you don't know who Gail Simone is, it's weird, right? Like, why would you, if you're watching this, but at this point you're still watching, you know who Gail Simone is. She's great. She's the creator of my favorite version of the Birds of Prey. She's the reason why we have, she took Oracle and that team into places that DC has regressed from. In some ways, I will say that. But she is, she took a break from, she wasn't writing comics for a while. During the pandemic, she was writing novel, I think Red Sonja, talked about that experience, but now she's like starting to come back to comics. She's doing Uncanny X-Men, which I'm actually hearing her talk about it because she's called, she described them as kissable, who she picked for the team as kissable, which I thought was hilarious. And she did pitch it pretty well enough, because I'm not a Marvel reader, and I have been thinking about getting back into X-Men. So I want to read some of the old stuff, but I was like, I want to read a new thing. So now I'm thinking I'm gonna picking up her stuff weekly and just checking it out, supporting her, because that's my girl. As far as DC stuff goes, her and her husband are funny. They splashed something on the screen. It was inks of Superman, just fedora opening his jacket, I think, kind of like going like that. And everyone was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And before all of us in the press, like, we're trying to lift up, take a picture, and they flip really quick because they saw us doing it. And they're like, oh, I don't even know if we can. If Gail Simone is coming to Superman or Action Comics or whatever she's teasing, she's doing a solo book, I don't know, I would cry. Because we've been on a pretty good run lately with all of our Supes books. Like, I would be so. But what if she's doing a Supergirl? But no, if it was Supergirl, she would have flashed Supergirl. But they showed Superman. I know for a fact. I'm not gaslighting myself. No, oh my God. Whatever Gail's up to, I'm very excited. I'm thrilled. I'm excited, and I hope. I hope it's good. I hope it's good. I'm excited. But yeah, there was a Q&A, and Gail talked a little bit about women in refrigerators, coining that term. So I wanted to feature that a little bit.
It
was in a Deadpool movie for crying out loud.
So I guess what is your reaction to that? That like, you know, they're saying that in the Deadpool movie and like Nightwing and Barbara Gordon are actually like using this word now in continuity.
I think, you know, it's kind of sad on the one hand that there ever had to be a term called, he's talking about women in refrigerators and frigid female characters. But it really is a term that's grown larger than me. It's used everywhere. I've been on panels with people who start talking about it and explaining it to me. They don't even know that I created it, and so I'm just used to it now. And it's weird, but it has changed the industries for the better in a lot of ways. I don't think we're seeing as much of it, and when we do see things happen to marginalized characters, hopefully they're not done just to further someone else's plot.
That's your girl, Gail Simone. Yeah, can't say much else about that. She's a genius. She's a legend. She's an icon. She is the moment. I'm so excited that she's writing comics. Again, I have reread Birds of Prey so many times and Secret Six, and like Gail's just got it. You know what I mean? Yeah, so next up, the last panel that I had of the day was X-Men 97. Yeah. Bro, excellent. But before I get to the X-Men panel, the panel before X-Men was supposed to be the Scott Pilgrim anniversary celebration. It got canceled. Before that was the How to Make a Droid panel. So I got in at the end of the droid panel because I wanted to make sure I got a good seat for X-Men 97. Me and Ronin were like especially Ronin was like, we were very adamant about that. But while I was waiting in the room, the superstars were rolling out. Literally, look. Oh my gosh. That was like, wow.
I need a payment for Wally.
That's criminal. He's outlived 3 generations.
Okay, fair. Listen, I am anti-AI, but when they're adorable. Anyway, it was cool to see like the construction. They're huge. They're bigger than my daughter. So yeah, that was fun. And then, you know, we were all, the room filled up with X-Men people, and you guys have no idea the energy that was in that room. The X-Men fans, they're just so much fun. Literally groups of people coming together, Cyclopses and Jean Greys and Madeline Pryor's, all like gathering, taking pictures, the storms coming together. Like, it was really, really fun to see the fans. It was like a little red carpet for the X-Men cosplayers. It was very cute. I love to see the energy. I love fandom so much. But yeah, we got to, you know, see the X-Men cast and crew, the people that were there for, it wasn't everyone. It was, let's see, Lenore Zan, Rogue, AJ Locasio, Gambit, Holly Chow, Jubilee, Matthew Watterson, Magneto, JP Carliac, Morph, Isaac Robinson Smith, Bishop, and Guy Agostini, Sunspot, and supervising producer Jake Castorena. There was also people, X-Men cast crew, casting directors, all in the crowd, and they, you know, had them stand up and like everyone cheered and stuff. It was really cool. It was really sweet because like you can tell every single person that works on the show is passionate about it, and I love that. We went through like, you know, auditions. We went through how, you know, their first time in getting into fandom, and like everyone was just so sweet and charming, and it was great to hear Rogue, Lenore Zan as Rogue. Her voice, changed a generation of women. She raised me. Thank you, Mother. I loved seeing her. There was some cute like back and forth moments between the Gambit, Rogue, and Magneto actors. Because if you've seen the show, you know that they've got some stuff going on there. But it was really cool to see that, and how much they care about their characters, and that they're willing to play it up with the audience. They know how to do it. They know how to sell it. But yeah, it was really dope. And we got like some really fun like moments like this one.
Previously unexpected. Previously on X-Men. Previously on...
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong person. Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
Yeah.
I don't want you where his mouth is.
Fighting over me already. Previously on X-Men.
Previously on X-Men.
I can hear my laughing in the background. I gotta remember not to react when I'm actually recording. It's so annoying. But anyway, isn't that awesome? I love them. So that was like a lot of fun. We got to see the actors afterwards, say hi to them, and chit chat. You know, I love seeing the Magnetos wearing the cunty outfit from the show, talking to Matthew Watterson and getting like, it was like a thrall of people just around the actors. It was really cool seeing everyone like interact with them. And yeah, they got to experience fame and fortune. But no, it was cool. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was just, I'm excited for the next episode. I'm excited to, we'll be reacting on TeamJVS with the boys. So we're excited for that. So that ended my Saturday. Saturday after I went to the floor a few times, got to say hi to like writers that I saw that I've interviewed in the past. Shout out to, who did I say hi to? Oh my God. I've interviewed Nicole Maines, Morgan Hampton, Dennis Culver. There's a few others that I said hi to, but it was cool seeing people that I've interviewed and talked to, and they remember me. That's nice. Next up, Sunday. Yeah, was my only panel. I had to leave Sunday afternoon, so I only went to one, but it was a really good one, and I'm glad I did. It was what is this called? It was the DEI panel, which is hilarious because I know that the meme right now on Twitter is like, where my DEIs at? Sorry, Black Twitter is wild right now. But the panel I went to was actually called Diverse Storytellers, Empowering Inclusion and Equality, which was a fun panel. And as you can see here, what I had mentioned earlier was that, and a lot of panels I went to that were multi-person panels, no Black women on them, which was disappointing to me as a Black person, as a Black woman. But it was still a really good panel. One of the reasons why I wanted to go to it was because Chantal Tui and Nicole Maines were on it. And I'm a CW Arrowverse person who I covered Black Lightning, as well as some issues of some episodes of Supergirl as well for DCTV podcast. And I really wanted to see both of them speak, especially because I've interviewed Nicole before. Chantal wasn't able to make it, so she just had a video message, but I was able, it was cool to see Nicole, and especially on Trans Day of Visibility. It was really nice to see her and hear her talk about her experiences. One of the things she was asked was like, what's the difference? Is there a difference between getting inclusion in film and TV or versus comics? And she said it was so much easier in comics versus TV because they're just more open and willing to do more things when it's printed word versus being on TV, because there's just, she talked about it. It was great to hear her talk about it. Because Dreamer, her character in the Supergirl series, it came out of the Supergirl series, and then she has pushed and pushed to make sure that Dreamer isn't forgotten, which I think is brilliant. There are so many CW characters that make their way into the comics, and then once the show's over, they're gone. This happened to Felicity Smoke. John Diggle is maybe coming back in Arrow. We haven't seen him in Green Arrow in a minute, even though he was teased in the Joshua Williamson's Sonic Isaac's premiere art when it was coming with back last year. I had not seen John Diggle since, but he's supposed to be back. He's still part of Team Arrow. But Ryan Wilder, there's other characters who have premiered, who've made the leap into the comics, but have disappeared since. And this is main continuity comics. This isn't just spinoffs. Like Ryan Wilder appeared in a Detective Comics issue, I believe. But Nicole Maines has been very adamant about not letting her be forgotten. So she has got Suicide Squad books. She's been writing Son of Kal-El, doing DC Pride stuff. It's really cool to see. And then she's got a graphic novel coming out, which I did talk to her in an interview about last year. You can check it out on multiverseofcolor.com. It was cool to see her here talk about it. One of the other points of note was Zeke Alton. Oh yeah, I don't know if I named all the people. It was Nicole Maines, Tong Lee, Zeke Alton, Leanne Patrick, Janina Scarlett, Emma Coe, and Daniela Munoz-Usech, who were all on the panel. And Zeke Alton, who's an actor, and he made a really good point. He also was pivotal in like making negotiations with the SAG-AFTRA strike last year. He made really good points about negotiating and putting pressure on the studios to protect actors from and creators from AI. So I asked a question, Q&A. I asked him like it's already affecting AI, taking jobs is already affecting normal, regular private citizens. Affected me. I got laid off because of that. My department got dissolved. That's a whole other story. But it was interesting to hear him talk about that. So I asked him like, how do we prevent it from affecting us? Like how do we have protection? Us writers, creators, marketing managers, PR people, publicists, journalists. And he said, he had a really good answer about creating a union but also creating a guild and like really talking to people. Start at the level, just talk to other people who do what you do and ask questions, figure out how we can like connect and have and build community power. I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was a great answer. And it's true. Like people have the power. We have the power. I think they're always begging us for money and voices and but yeah. So those are really good panels that I got to check out. And yeah, ended my day at WonderCon, got to walk the floor a little bit more. Just some really cool stuff to see. I loved the Tiki booth. Shout out to that. I don't think I got a picture of it, sorry. But yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you to TeamJVS for sending me to, giving me access to going to WonderCon. And yeah, I think the next one I'm going up is CinemaCon in Vegas. All right, y'all. You can find me at Vanessa Shark on everything. Instagram and Twitter is where I'm most active. I really am trying to tamper down my Twitter usage because I fucking hate that channel. But whatever, I'm still on it and I'm talking on it. You can check out write-ups that I have, interviews and all that on multiverseofcolor.com. You can also check out TeamJVS's YouTube. I have a playlist of all my reviews, reactions, things of that nature. My most recent review was Shirley on Netflix. I also interviewed John Ridley before the movie came out, so you can check those both out on the sites I previously mentioned. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Goodbye.